Welcome to Who Put This On, Season 6, Episode 28, where we watch AwesomnessTV's Next Influencer, Season 3, Episode 1. I'm Chris Lorenz, normal podcaster, that kind of bitch.
This is Brian. I'm just going to fur for the microphone here.
This is Noah. The South is in the house.
Yo, what's up, guys? I'm Max. I'm 31. I'm a TikTok influencer. I'm known for my relatable content.
Thank you. If you didn't tell, that was our references to the show we just watched. Each week we watch a new show, figuring out if it's good or bad. And we have some follow-up content from last week. Last week we watched the D'Amelio show. And we have a poll on Twitter for you to tell us what you thought the show was. And the D'Amelio show ranked top third. So you agreed with me, and I forget who else, but top third. So if you want to rate us.
I think everyone did top third. I think it was unanimous.
Unanimous. Everyone thought it was top third. Everyone.
So far, Influencer Month has been very kind to our shows. Kind of shocking.
So far.
So if you want to tell us what you thought about the show we just watched, find us on Twitter at Who Put This On. And you can rate it in the poll. All right. So let's talk about this show.
Wait, we gotta do the show description.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Are you a new host of this podcast?
I don't know. I'm all discombobulated right now. Noah, give us a show description.
I gotcha. Up and coming influencers live under one roof with the goal of becoming the next big TikTok star. That is AwesomnessTV's Next Influencer on Paramount Plus.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Noah.
Also available on YouTube, at least episode 1. Do not sign up for Paramount Plus to watch this show.
Yeah, please don't.
I had my free trial from watching the NFL games, so I watched it there.
Yeah. So the show's hot garbage. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna go into it, but it is bad. It's by far the worst influencer show in Influencer Month. But it's bad. It's no good.
One of the worst shows we've seen in a while, I feel.
It's not. We had a bottom of the bottom come up recently, but this is bad. Noah, can you tell me what the hell the show had anything to do with influencers and making a top influencer?
Unclear how it makes a top influencer. It seems like throughout the season, they're going to really judge their content production skills, which can then speak a bit to it. But as far as I can tell, this is just getting social climbers to try to social climb on each other.
Yeah. What like for a show like this, what I would expect is, hey, we're going to give you a challenge. Go make a TikTok. Whoever gets the most likes wins. Reviews, whatever. How is that not the show? This show is 10, 11 people in this house, and then they rate each other. They just rate each other, and the one that rates the best at the end wins. Over how many weeks the show is, it's so weird.
Well, it's interesting. So they gave away during the show the production schedule is 2 weeks. So very tight.
It's so short.
Very tight taping, but I'm sure they're going to bleed this out. 8 to 10 episodes or something.
Yeah, so every episode's a day, something.
Man, every episode feels like a year.
It's so, yeah. So let's start out with the minutia here. So the show starts with everyone arriving to this house in these big cars, and they introduce every single person one by one by one. By one.
I have to say, I think this is like the best part of the episode.
I mean, you're not wrong, but this is not the way you start a show. Like, introduce a couple people, do a challenge, introduce more people, do a challenge. Like, you can't just sit there and introduce 11 people. That's too many people. How am I supposed to remember who the hell everyone is? You just gave me 11 names.
Yeah. Well, they're...
Yeah. I mean, so many shows are guilty of this.
Yep.
Yeah, well, it's a classic mistake.
Also, who the hell went with 11 for this?
Yeah.
It's a very weird question because the challenge, right? They had a challenge, first challenge after they introduced everyone. They had this challenge where they had to like read through books, find a puzzle pieces.
They weren't reading through.
They weren't reading. They were going through books, finding puzzle pieces. Then they had to swim across this pool in a floaty, and then they had to put together the puzzle. It was so boring, but you needed 3 people, so where they had 3 people teams, and then since they had 11 people, they just had to have a 2-person team. Very weird.
Maybe somebody got COVID.
Can't divvy up 11 people into proper teams.
Yeah. Max has a good point. I wouldn't be. I'm going to do some cornering because this is season 3, so there could be some clues left behind.
Yeah,
but yeah,
somebody probably dropped out or got COVID or something. You get COVID, you're not allowed on the show.
We should come back to the challenge because it's almost impossibly dumb and bad. But
it really is.
Were there any like sort of highlights of the introductions of people? I was pleasantly surprised by some people who were sort of self-aware of their whole thing. Like, you'd have some guy come on and say, "Yeah, my content is normal F-boy stuff. I point to the camera."
Here, I'll do a quick rundown of people and what their content is. We got it.
Oh boy,
we got it. We got Talon. He does skits. He's 18. He does normal TikTok stuff. We got Christian. He's 19. He does F-boy content. We got Nor. She's 18. She does makeup stuff on TikToks. We got Bryce, 19. He's in a relationship with Nor. Soha, she's 20. She does goofy content. Or is that a guy? I think that's a guy. So
Bryce?
No, Soha's a
girl. Okay.
Wait, so is all her content like, I'm goofy?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what she said. She's from Kansas City.
Evan, he's 20. He's the Southern boy. He does crazy skits and rants. Dawn, she's 20. She gets canceled. That's what I wrote down.
It's because she says a lot of things to get her in trouble.
Yeah, and then I wrote, she's got ick with Nor, whatever that means. We got Noah D, which I am very surprised Noah Singer did not use that as his quip. He's 19, and he's known for dumping coffee on himself for 120 days straight.
No, 164 days straight.
164.
What a fucking waste of coffee.
We got Carrie. She's 18. She does unboxing videos and product reviews. We got Sierra. She's 19. She does comedy. And we got Tay Tay. She's 20, and she's that bitch.
Because you take it away from the real one.
Now, if you, the listener, sort of just kind of zoned out for the past minute, I can't blame you. So did we.
Yeah, I mean, that's just a brief glimpse of introing 11 people in 5-6 minutes.
Chris, I'm very impressed that you wrote them all down. So, like, I was writing down all their names too, but I only wrote down the names. I said, screw the rest of it. You were just in your phone doing
I mean, there would be no point in me going through them all if it's just their names.
Yeah. It's kind of weird to skip it.
Yeah, I love the F-boy guy. He's just like, yeah, I'm hot. You watch me on TikTok because I'm hot. I'm hot. And that's his whole thing. He likes to play games. He's trying to hook up with Tay Tay, and Tay Tay is playing games with him, and that's like fucking the show. Like, I swear to you, 10 minutes of the show is those two interacting with each other about wanting to fuck each other and not wanting to fuck each other. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I feel like I could just get that at like any high school lunchroom. Just sit there for like 5 minutes and that's the content.
Yeah, it definitely feels like this is the show. Like, you watch like Mean Girls and the new girl gets introduced to the school, and like this is what the other girl tells you. It's like, okay, we got Tay Tay here. She's a bitch. We got Noah here. He's an F-boy. They want to fuck each other, but they don't. They're exes. Like, this is what the show is, and it's no good.
No.
I mean, they definitely want to have sex with each other. They're just very immature. Everyone in the show is between 18 and 20, which is funny because usually for these shows where they live in a house, and they have a lot of time to kill, they get them liquored up because they need that content.
Wow, I
you know.
did not consider that.
They're too young.
They're too young. So we're just going to get a lot of like premature, immature social drama. Like it's just, it's not good.
This kind of feels like the real world, to be honest with you. It's 11 people, young people in a house, but like real world, obviously they're a little older, so they have jobs. I guess technically these people TikTok might be their job. I don't know.
But they drink in the real world.
Yeah.
You got that alcohol.
There'd be no drama without the alcohol.
Right.
Here, in this show, they have to do shitty challenges. Max, can you tell us about what you thought about this challenge?
Yeah, so to recap, each team has 3 people. There are a bunch of books that may have some puzzle pieces in them. You empty them out, you swim them across a pool in a floaty, and you assemble the puzzle. It made no sense in the context of the show. It was not exciting to watch. We've watched a lot of seasons of like The Challenge or something. We've watched a lot of challenge type shows. This is one of the worst, stupidest things I've ever wasted my time on.
Okay, Max, what if I present to you a different show that you can relate it to? Like, say, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Fucking watching a kid climb a mountain is way more fun than this.
Yeah, but the kids and these people were also dumb.
Like, even, what was the, like, kids' Jedi show?
The Jedi Challenge or something?
Watching 6-year-olds walk on a tightrope is more exciting than whatever the fuck this was.
It was stupid. I wasn't fun to watch at all. Nothing happened for the winner. Like, nothing. It stupid. That's all this thing
Actually, Chris, I want to talk about the winner. How do you win this?
So you have to be the fastest.
Right, you have to be on the fastest team, but then actually only one person can win on that.
Yeah, so they gave them a quiz of how many TikTok followers does everyone at the house have combined? And the answer was 18.5 million TikTok followers.
And whoever guesses it right wins.
Closest.
What a phenomenal challenge. What
we needed to have a winner to do what now? Like, what does it even mean?
I agree with Brian, though. It definitely, like, when I was watching, I was like, this feels like Legends of Hidden Temple. Like, actually, to me, it was a double dare. Because I had this, like, zany feel to it, but just with people trying to be TikTokers and barely legal clothing. Like, I don't know why all these people have to be wearing these, like, skimpiest of clothing. I didn't feel nice watching it.
That's their brand. Their brand.
Have you been to LA?
Their brand is they're hot. Everyone in this house is hot. Everyone's wearing nothing. That's it. That's the whole point of the show. That's why people watch the show. That's why they follow. That's why they have followers on TikTok. Like, F-boy guy knows it.
Yeah. I was just surprised. Like, I don't know. I'm not getting too old, but it's like these 18-year-old girls just like prancing around like very thin swimwear. I'm like, I don't feel right.
Yeah, I mean, they're legal. It's okay.
Legal in California, I guess.
Unlike the D'Amelio, Charlie's only 17. Anyway, after they do this challenge, they kind of hang out, they flirt, we kind of get into people's rooms as they talk about who they like, they don't really talk about who they don't like, but it doesn't really matter.
A little bit. I mean, it wasn't a structured confessional or anything. Right, they're just trying to like start some story arcs of Taylor and Noah potentially hooking up and like going a little bit deeper, and Noor and Dawn having some beef, like just really trying to lay that foundation. Pretty typical, like first show of the reality season.
Yeah, we got to talk about this Noor and Dawn thing. So, from what I gather, before the show started, Dawn and Noor were friends, and Dawn went to a party Noor wasn't allowed to go to, And then Dawn told somebody at the party that Noor drugged her. And then a whole bunch of shit happened that we don't really know what happened. But it sounded pretty fucked up. That's very weird.
And just, like, so much of the show just felt like very petty high school.
They're 18. Of course it's petty. They've got nothing going on. They've got all this pressure from TikTok and, like...
This is what happens when you start drinking alcohol. You can just go out into that.
Yeah, but, like, you know, I think as we've seen, though, with Hype House, even though they're a little bit older, in the D'Amelio show, like, there are people out there that are creating content that aren't silly like this. Like, they can actually create substantial content.
Yeah, but those people don't agree to go in an 11-person house that you just raid each other in.
No, clearly not.
Like, there's just a subset of those people, Noah, and you just don't get cream of the crop to go on the show. So now you're not getting cream of the crop TikTokers. You're not even getting middle team TikTokers. You're getting...
You got some... I will... Sorry.
Chris, this is not an established influencer. This is America's next influencer.
Well,
how do you become the next influencer on the show? Like, I don't understand how any of this is to do with influencer.
We're talking about them as we speak. We're being influenced.
I will argue that there are some middlers. So if you go to the next influencer's TikTok, very nicely, they follow all the cast, right? So you can just go click on all their TikToks. There is a wide range here. About half of them have like millions of followers, like, which is decent. Like, if you can get over 1 million, like, you're doing some business.
We found out they between the 11 of them, they have 18.5, at least at the time.
Yeah, but there's a big disparity. So Talon, and like the Queen Girl, they're in like the hundreds of thousands. Tay-Tay is in like 20,000.
Oh,
like,
is that even? That should disqualify you from being on the show, really.
And so I was surprised. I'm like, wait, how the hell? What is she doing here? So then I go to her Instagram. Also, it's like 10,000.
So then I'm like, wait, the show premiered.
Yeah. And so I'm like, so I had a suspicion that maybe she's like a producer's daughter or something. Because, like, how did she get on here? It turns out no. Her dad owns like a home construction company. Supposedly very successful. Her sister, though, it was a bachelor contestant. So somehow, like, they know the trick to get on these things, but
they know
it doesn't make sense while she's here.
They know the producer involved. She's hot, I guess. I guess they really struggled with getting people to get on the show. It's really what you're telling me, Noah.
It just seemed like orders of magnitude lower than everyone else. Like, it doesn't add up.
Yeah. Let's move on to challenge number 2, I guess. After all this, they kind of do this thing where one person sits in a chair and there's like a notepad thing that has a question on it. You have to answer the question honestly or lie. It doesn't really matter, but you're being rated. So, like, that's what you're trying to optimize for. And it's like, who do you think is hot? Who are you going to rate lowest? Who's going to start beef? And me as an audience member do not care. But that's what they decided was important to show us here. And that was the end of the episode. Correct?
Yeah, I think I just came across some, like, big news.
I do have some minutia that we can go over.
Wait. I got some really deep cornering.
Okay, go ahead.
Season 1.
Take it away.
From Hype House, Alex Warren shows up on Next Influencer. We have crossovers coming in. Yeah,
we should have done season 1. I did see him in the promo, so I thought he would be in this episode, but he wasn't.
Yeah, he's a season 1 guy. I'm surprised by that. I didn't think there'd be any crossover.
Yeah. So from what I could see, Awesomeness TV is like a brand, obviously. In July, it was established in July 2012. But in 2014, Verizon Communication acquired a quarter of the company for $159 million.
What the hell is this channel? I've never heard of this.
It was valued.
It's a production company.
$650 million. And then in 2018, NBC acquired it for $50 million. So it was part of like the Go 90 channel, it seems, was probably its big thing.
Oh my god, I forgot about Go 90.
It has
Go 90.
They have 8.5 million followers on YouTube. Or subscribers, I guess, on YouTube.
So the big thing from them, though, like, so their whole pitch is they're creating content for Gen Z. Like, that's literally what they're writing on their website. They do have a major hit, though. Pen 15.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like,
that's actually a good show. What the fuck?
Yeah, exactly. So they are making bets, like most places, a lot fail, but when you get a hit, you get a hit.
But it's not Awesomeness TV's Pen 15. It's like, what you put your name on seems important. They do.
I mean, they're getting the money,
I mean, that's fair. They also did To All the Boys I've Loved Before.
Yeah.
They've done stuff you've probably heard of. Just pointing out, I mean, you're worth $50 million for a reason. You're not like, if it was just the show, I'd imagine it'd be worth thousands of dollars.
No, they don't debt. They're not. And they're what? Not worth shit.
Well, whatever. Yeah, that's the show. Is there any other minutia people want to talk about? Because I'm ready to get into some questions here. All right.
I do have one, which is, on all of these shows, they normally say, oh, we know each other previously through social media, but they don't say which app it is or anything, right? So on the show, obviously they are actually dropping words, except the two people who are in a couple say, oh, we met on social media. Like the same guy dropped the term Instagram and then said social media. What the fuck is that?
They met on the Tinders, the social.
That's not social
Tinders.
media.
Is TikTok a social media? I don't.
Yeah.
It seems like a video sharing platform.
I feel like we haven't talked about Owen at all.
Oh shit, we gotta talk about Owen.
Who's Owen?
No, he's the host.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about those. Why don't we bring up the question? Is this the peak or downgrade for Owen? Owen the host.
The answer is who the fuck knows.
Yeah.
What I will say is I found it very funny that this kid to me looks like a 16-year-old, and all the girls are like, "Oh my god, this guy's so hot." I'm like, "What?"
I really know the answer to this, and it's definitely peak. How can you you can't do much more before 18?
Yeah.
I mean, probably. I mean, so it seemed like he's the host of seasons 1 and 2, and everyone played up like he's like TJ Lavin or like people like the guy on Survivor, like Jeff Probst. But like he was okay, I guess, as a host. Like he was fine.
He's fine. I'm looking at the season 2 replay on YouTube. The comments is, "What is this?" Spelled with a Y for this. I'm leaving. Do y'all like this show?
Social media at work, baby.
He has 100,000 followers on Instagram.
Owen Holt. Yeah, it definitely seems like this is his show. Again, I don't want to find out who his parents are.
He has 4 million followers on TikTok. That's not bad.
No,
I
that's
think
pretty
he may
good.
have previously won a season of this.
He might have won season 1 because he was the host of season 2.
But yeah, otherwise I got nothing about this show.
He's the winner of the first season. Spoilers for anyone listening.
Oh shit!
Damn it, Chris.
Sorry. if you cared about what's going on here. So let's.
I just one thing about Owen. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but if I was casting a movie about the Duke lacrosse story, I think I would cast him as lacrosse player number one.
What kind of burn is that?
He just
you saying this guy looks like a rapist? Is that what you're telling me?
Very much looks like a
I don't think you're allowed to say that. You're going to get canceled for that.
I didn't say that. You said that.
You just said no. You implied it.
Then
I asked you, does he look like a rapist? You said yes. You said it.
I didn't say those words. I'm just building the scene.
Yeah, the scene of rape. Great way to go.
I'm saying he can be an actor.
Podcast now?
I'm saying he can be an actor.
Okay, all right.
He's very white looking. He's very white. That's what I mean.
You're just digging a hole deeper.
Oh no.
Max, should we be Noah's lawyer right now and tell him stop or objection leading?
No, I like watching him dig his own grave.
Okay.
I don't think anything's being dug. This is an opinion show, and we got opinions.
Would this show be better as a Quibi?
Yeah.
Would the show be better off if they recorded it and then buried it and sealed it underground?
I mean, no, because you're wasting the poor ground. That's going to get in the dirt, and they're burning a bunch of money.
I mean, certainly less of this show is better. So I'd say yes.
Yeah, that's exactly why. But Max's point is good too, where they just don't do it.
Yeah, I mean, this would make more sense as 2 months. We're gonna have you do this challenge on TikTok. You get the most likes or follow, then you move on to the next round. You do it again.
Yeah,
I think that would be way more entertaining. Anyway, doesn't matter. Let's talk about who's gonna hook up next, and why is it Tay and Noah?
Because they were denying it too much.
So who do you think it is, Brian?
It's gonna be Tay.
You think it's gonna? It could be Sierra and Talon. What was
Talon, yeah, Talon.
Yeah.
I don't think next. I think in the season they will, but not next.
All right, Noah. Who do you think is gonna hook up next?
It's obviously Tay and Noah, but Talon and Sierra maybe after.
I just don't see it happening next. Maybe in the season. I feel like they're playing too playful with each other. I don't know. That's my opinion on the matter. Not that it really matters. Tweet at me if you know, because I ain't watching any more of this. At Hoover the Song, let us know who hooks up next.
Tweeted him.
Let's talk about who the worst human being is for this episode. Brian, who do you think it is? Who's your nomination?
You know who it is. It's Tay.
Yeah.
It's probably Tay.
You're probably not wrong. I mean, I don't know. I feel like Noor should really get it. For lying about drugging a woman, that's some serious shit.
No. Dawn did that.
Oh, Dawn. Okay, you're right.
Yeah, that's... Okay, I didn't really consider it in the context of this show just because it's this drama that's brought in from outside.
But it was brought up in this show.
Yeah, I understand it. You're right. I can see that.
Yeah, I feel like Dawn definitely deserves the win on this one. All right, let's do drinking rules because you got to have them for this show. Brian, what do you got for me?
Drink every time you basically see a woman not wearing a shirt.
So you're drunk.
Yeah, I'm giving you entertainment during this show.
Why is this a sexist drink? Why can't it be when a guy's not wearing a shirt?
I thought I said both genders because Noah D had such a deep V I guess it did say girls. Yeah, you're right. It should be both.
Anytime there's a thirst trap for you.
Yeah.
Take a drink. No, you
got. Anytime you are slightly annoyed, take a small sip because you are going to be drinking.
Anytime there's a new word that you've never heard used before, some sort of Gen Z term, take a drink. Or just a Gen Z term.
Were there any for you in this episode?
There was some sort of ick about when it was like they had beef. They said there was some sort of ick. I thought that was weird. Somebody said it was really fire. I thought that's like a Gen Z term.
But you've heard that on Hype House. They say that like every other sentence.
Fire?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fire
honey.
isn't like I would consider a Gen Z term, but it's not a term when I say just like a Gen Z term, not like a term.
I think it was Gen Z I haven't heard before. It was the combo. Gen Z.
Let's narrow it to just Gen Z, like a term you think is like a young person's term.
It's fire.
Yeah. Ick. I thought that was a weird term. Max, what do you got for me?
Anytime somebody mentions follower counts, drink.
All right, I got another one. Every time Evan does a sick burn or a sick quip.
Sick quip?
Yeah.
What about if anyone does a sick quip?
I don't think anybody else is going to do it. Everyone was like dropping it all over the place, and that was kind of funny. He was the best entertainment.
Okay. And do you have another one?
I do not actually.
You lied to me. You said you had two more.
I thought I did.
All right. You got one?
Yeah, every time somebody says somebody else is hot or somebody else did something that is fire, take a fireball shot.
I do like the hot. That's a good one. I think anytime there's some flirting, I feel like that's a good one. Flirting will get you, I think, a long way in this show. Let's see. Let's do... This one's going to be a tough one, I have a feeling. But what do you love about this show?
I got one. I like the host. I thought he was really positive. And initially when I was listening to like Owen, I was like, I have some hope for this show. And I quickly went out the door.
Noah, what do you love about the show? We're going to come back to you. Max.
Yeah, I'm
what do you love about the show?
I like the part where it ended.
Oh, come on. We're trying to be positive. People put time, money, effort to making the show way more than we ever put into making a show. So you come up with one thing that you like about the show.
That's definitely true.
Chris, I can't. I'm not good at complimenting in general, but this show.
I like it. Go ahead, though.
I did like the intros, despite the difficulty on remembering people. I thought it gave people like an opportunity to express themselves. Like that kid from Georgia, he like came through a lot of personality, and I liked him a lot. I thought he was like super funny, so I appreciate that.
I like the format of the show a bit. I like the rating and how that can affect the strategy of everyone in the show. Where they have to be likable, so it kind of sets them in the right likable tone. Without that, I think the show might be turned into just bitchy disaster. So I think that was a good format for this.
Can I take a hot take? I think you like it because you like Survivor. It's a Survivor.
It's very Survivor-like. Does Big Brother do this? I feel like because you can vote people out in Big Brother. Like the only thing is like usually you get voted out if you're last. So like this time you just get to stay in. So it's kind of Circle-esque. It's very Circle-esque. Max, have you come up with something?
No.
Okay, all right. Moving on. Sorry, Awesomeness TV. We're also not your demo, so I guess it doesn't really matter to you. Okay. Let's do our last question. We do a ranking system. We do a stack ranking system against other reality shows. We do top, middle, bottom, third. Mr. Noah, what is your ranking?
So obviously clear bottom show. I'm struggling between bottom of the top of the bottom or middle of the bottom. It's still not bottom of the bottom because the bottom shows, like, not only is it bad, it really can hold our attention. This one did actually hold my attention. It was just painful to watch. You know what? I'm not feeling really optimistic today, so let's go middle of the bottom. Because it's just not entertaining. It's very annoying. But also, I know that I'm not who they're making this for, so hopefully the people it's made for, they really dig it. That'd be great.
I have a feeling I know what Max's is, so go ahead, Max.
Mine's actually going to be middle of the bottom. We've just seen so much garbage that this didn't really register as like true garbage bottom of the bottom. But it didn't keep my attention.
That's fair. Brian, what do you got for me?
You were totally going to say he was bottom of the bottom.
No, well, I don't try to predict. When you're doing the 9 scale, like, I can't predict where it's going to be in the 9 buckets. Like, I'm not going to do that.
I also thought it was like middle of the bottom. I didn't think it was like completely bad, but oh my god, it was mind-numbing. That drama so bad.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a bump there. It's not for me. I don't care about if 18-year-olds hook up with each other. I definitely don't need to see hot 18-year-olds. It's fine. Can go on my life without that. Bottom third, and I remembered what the bottom of the bottom show we watched recently, which was Judge Steve Harvey, and this show is better than that show.
Absolutely.
It is, sadly. It's sadly better.
So, we can say unanimous middle of the bottom, even though I don't usually do the 9 buckets. But
I mean, to this show's credit, at least they're going for an audience here. Steve Harvey kills him. No, it's the Steve Harvey Judge show. Steve Harvey kills people. Judge.
So VJ's been on the show before, if you've listened, and he said he made it past episode 1 to episode 2, but I'm pretty sure he fell asleep in episode 1 and episode 2, just autoplayed. So I don't believe him. There you go. That's it for our discussion. We got some shout outs. Brian, you have a shout out this week?
I don't have a TV show shout out, but I've been playing this game Danganronpa. Like, it's a story about like these kids who are getting murked, and it's kind of funny. What
is murk one of these Gen Z terms?
I don't think so, but just getting killed. They're killing each other. Yeah.
Noah, what do you got for me?
Murked. Man, things I'm learning. So I'll also take the Brian train. I'm going to give a shout out to a podcast. It's like my people on this podcast, the Always Sunny podcast. It's really entertaining. It's like the guys are just kind of just having fun, but because they have such a good relationship with each other, it's really nice to listen to. It just feels like Always Sunny the podcast.
Max, what do you got for us? I also like the Sunny podcast too, by the way. So, thumbs up.
Sorry, I'm back.
Max, what do you got for us?
Shout out to the Bengals game. It was a good last 3 minutes of a football game.
I mean,
not the Chiefs one.
All the NFL games, incredible.
That's the only one I saw.
Yeah, NFL this last weekend was really good. Probably going to be the peak of the NFL this season. So.
Maybe of a decade. If you had to it was on point.
Yeah. I don't have a show shout out for you this week, but I do have a audiobooks shout out. There's this Cradle series by Will Wright. It is very fun, entertaining, kind of like a mix of anime, big people level up and get more power, and there's more threats. But it's very good. I would highly suggest it if you're looking for some just fun, mindless entertainment. And that's it for us this week.
Wait, Chris, is the Will Wright the same guy as the video game creator?
No. Oh wait, it's Will White. I think it's spelled very similarly, but it's not. It's not the same guy. But
gotcha.
Yeah. Anyway, there you have it. You can vote in our poll and tell us what you thought. But Awesomeness is whatever the fuck the show was on Twitter at @HoopOfTheSon. You can find us on TikTok at @HoopOfTheSon Podcast. You can email us questions and suggestions at hoopoftheson@gmail.com. Please rate us on iTunes and Spotify. And we'll see you guys next time. All right, so Noah pointed out that this is the end of our influencer month, so we could take a couple minutes here to discuss the comparisons between all 3 influencer shows. So we watch Hype House, D'Amelio show, and the next influencer show. And I think I want to point out that it was a middle third for Hype House, a top third for D'Amelio, and a bottom third for this house. Although I did elevate Hype House to top third, but it's kind of interesting where they're kind of all over the place. Anyway, I think that there's no point to talk about Nick's Influencer Show because it's terrible. I didn't learn anything. But the other two shows I thought were really interesting look behind the curtain of being a TikTok influencer.
Yeah, well, Chris, I know you watched more of Hype House. So help us understand. Did you finish both shows?
Yeah, I finished both shows.
Oh,
they're both like 8 episodes long. The D'Amelio show was kind of interesting because it seemed like the show tried to make it seem like Charlie was trying to decide to do all this stuff, but I think it was really the parents were pushing the daughters into like doing more than just TikTok, and it was interesting to see like behind the scenes of these, I guess, Gen Z famous people.
Yeah.
Especially
Brian, did you watch them?
I watched the rest of Hype House, which, despite my rating, like, I'm still putting it there. I didn't watch any more D'Amelio.
The D'Amelio kind of had like some sort of storyline of how she wanted to dance, so she started dancing, and then by the end she was like, well, I got too much other stuff going on in my life, and then so she stopped dancing. There's also like a cut in the like filming. Wonder if that was the same cut in Hype House, but I think the shows came out at a different time. Yeah. I thought it was interesting to see like a life behind the curtains. Hype House is very interesting in terms of how do you run a TikTok influencer house when no one wants to be in that house or make TikToks. Very weird. I didn't understand that dynamic at all, but it was interesting.
Yeah, I'm on like episode 6 or 7 of Hype House, so almost near the end. But like, the more I watch it, it's just like, right, it is 17 and 18-year-olds who already have too much money than they could ever imagine at that age, and now you're asking them to work more. It's like, of course they're not going to work,
or even work at all. It seems it's just like, hey, you make a TikTok a month or two. What? A month? You sign me up. I'll be there. I'll make a TikTok every fucking day. Like, not that hard.
No, I feel bad for the guy that runs the house. Thomas.
I know, like, he was also being dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it's his fault. Like, okay, not making TikToks. See ya. Like, it's not that hard.
Yeah, I guess so.
But he also bought the other dude's house.
He also, like, was paying for the other dude's house for way too long. Like, dude, you didn't make a TikTok in a month? I'm bouncing down your door like, hey, you got 35 million followers. I need you to make fucking TikToks. What are you doing?
Wait, Thomas was footing the bill for Chase's house?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's bad.
Right?
Yeah,
like,
Thomas.
And she, like, just silly. Just silly. It's also kind of interesting to see these TikTokers. Like, you have Chase trying to go into music and Charlie's sister trying to make music.
Dixie. Yeah.
Dixie. I mean, it helps when you can afford like top tier voice coaches.
Yeah. I mean, it's not, as long as you have a good producer. I feel like music is so edited now. Like, just get a producer. I also just don't see why they want to go into it. Like,
we talked about
it's so much. Yeah, I know we talked about it. But I still just don't get it. It's like,
talk about like there's one life where like, okay, you got to make content every day or every week. You got to make something great, or you travel around the country for your entire fucking life at months at a time. Like, no thanks. I guess there's a lot of stress doing that potentially because you're just like, you're just partying it up all the time. I guess it's like, I don't know. Personally, both of them don't sound great. One sounds more miserable than the other to me. But.
Yeah, it's both hard. Yeah, the D'Amelio show, I'm on like episode 2, I think. Maybe 3. Like, I'm still pretty early. But
you watched episode 1, so now you're on episode 2.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I guess I'm on episode 3. they do have super different tones. Like the D'Amelio show really tries to get more into like mental health and like these girls are kind of fragile. Where High Pass, it's just kind of like it's more of like a business show in kind of a way of like, how do you manage these employees who just don't want to do this,
and their lives of not doing many TikToks for you.
And then also a platform for Nikita just to get more famous. I am convinced Nikita is just like making this all happen so she can get more famous.
Yeah. The one last thing is like, it's interesting to see like these shows exist. And I don't think it's like millennials or, Gen Xers or anyone setting up these shows. It's like the TikTokers are setting up these shows to like get more followers. They're trying to hype themselves. Except for, I think this show is kind of, I don't know who the hell is running this show, but like seems very much like an interesting new content. Like, I don't remember, was there a show featuring 18, 19-year-olds when we were growing up? Like, we kind of made the real world reference.
Yeah.
They're a little older.
There definitely was content. So there's like professional content, right? Like scripted dramas, and obviously there's like Nickelodeon, MTV, like VH1, like programming, right? Which like real world.
Was Jackass our version of this? Like,
it's definitely a precursor of like,
Yeah.
the reality spectrum. But then, like, even on the non-scripted drama, you have like a lot of the like, this is even before we were older, but like Singled Out, and kind of some of the more dating shows, or like Maxim Magazine, and like derivative content that they made that kind of like fit this niche.
What's a Maxim Magazine show?
I don't know, or just like video content that they're making, right? Like, trying to think of like that genre of content. Like, you had Maxim Magazine, and I forgot which other ones, but like there are. I'd have to go back and look it up, but video content that would pair with that.
I just think that when we're in our 30s, and like making money at 18, being famous is just like not really a thing unless you were like a big actor. Like, there's no YouTube to go really famous here back in the day, like when we were growing up. There's no TikTok, 15 minutes of fame we could have gotten.
Disappointing. So,
yeah, I mean, definitely disappointed, right? Like, you couldn't just publish. Like, it was starting, right? Like, people like had blogs.
Yeah. But you couldn't. It would have been really hard to do anything like this because there'd be like two people, maybe.
Oh, it's so hard, right?
Like, be the guy that wrote 55, and the guy that wrote the, what was it? Something Dance. I can't remember. Man, my
Humpty
memory.
Dance?
No. Hamster Dance, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
The Hamster Dance. Yeah, the Hamster Dance song. The guy that directed Two Girls, One Cup. Just like, like the girl that started it. I don't know, like weird shit that like went viral for like no reason. Like,
that's what someone's IMDb director. Two Girls, One Cup.
It's possible. All right. I think we're gonna end it here. Talked enough about it. Go watch the other two shows, not this one.
One asked.
Okay.
It won't be me, but Chris or Brian. I'd love to make a bet where if you lose on your LinkedIn page, you put director of Two Girls, One Cup. You can come up with a bet. Think about it.
Not happening. Our bets now are on TikTok. So if you lose a bet, you got to do some sort of some stupid TikTok. So we're not doing that bet, Noah. We're done talking about it. Go watch High Pass and D'Amelio show if you want to know more about like Gen Z culture. It's pretty interesting. And we'll see you guys next time.
Are you going to go on Legend of the Hidden Temple? Are we going to be influencers?
I'm not hot enough to be on the show, dude.
definitely not. They are way, way hotter than Jesus Christ.